hope that you're doing well. I'm going to give everybody a second to just jump on in case anybody wants to be here. If not, I'll see you whenever the replay comes up. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, hi, it's nice to meet you. My name is Leah, and I am a intuitive life coach, a consciousness mentor, and I also do a lot of Akashic record kind of stuff. I help a lot of people clear trauma. I help a lot of people really just kind of move into the direction of aligning more with their higher self, and also integrating a lot of their soul lessons. So hi, welcome. I'm so glad to see you. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's doing well after the healing yesterday. If you were able to make it, please let me know if anything came up for you so that we can hold space for that too, because sometimes when we start healing, we can start to like dig up some stuff, and it might start giving us a lot of emotions, because usually when we go through stuff, we go through emotional suppression. And whenever we go through a little bit of emotional suppression, then we start to heal it, then all those emotions we didn't feel before start to come up. And there's a reason we don't want to feel them, because they can be very, very intense. So if they come up, you're allowed to feel however you feel, and I want you to know that we can hold space for that too. You're not too negative, you're not too dark here. This isn't a toxic positivity space. This is where we transmute what's dark into light, right? Because that's what it really takes, not just pretending it's not happening. And we also came here to experience all the different breadth of human emotion, even our pain. So we can't pretend it's not happening, and we have to bring it up to change it, right? We have to bring it up so that we can change our relationship to the pain, so it stops being suffering and instead becomes just a part of the human experience, if that makes sense. So please let me know if something comes up. We're here for you. We're not going to open the wounds and then close them, or not close them rather. So I hope everybody's doing good. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit tired today, but I wanted to talk to you about a topic that's been on my mind that I kind of felt guided to talk about, and it's integration of lessons. So a lot of us are really going through this right now, where we've gone through a couple of really hard years, and whether it was on a conscious level that we went through this, or whether it was on a subconscious level, because there's some people who are kind of preparing for this time and not even really knowing it. Some of us were on the spiritual path, and we've kind of been like on this conscious spiritual journey. We probably learned a lot of lessons, and we probably learned a lot of things intellectually, right? So if we took a test on things that we were supposed to learn, we probably get all the right answers. But unfortunately, the difference, between learning them intellectually and being able to kind of regurgitate the information that we've learned and living it is when we come to integration. And that does not happen overnight, right? One of the things I talk about a lot is I've done a lot of like cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm certified in rational living therapy, which is a version of cognitive behavioral therapy. And this part actually isn't woo at all. This part is one of the most empirically based scientific methods of counseling that there is. But basically, the theory behind it is why we feel our emotions is because we have a lot of these automatic beliefs in the back of our minds. We have a lot of these beliefs that happen because of experience after experience after experience, or we were given these beliefs during really formative times, either a traumatic time, early in childhood, or we've had the same message given to us over and over and over again. So we start developing beliefs about the way the world works in the back of our mind, and we don't even think about it, it just kind of shapes our worldview. And it's not a bad thing. We have so much information coming at us at all times. We have to take shortcuts to process everything that's going on, right? We have to be able to quickly absorb information. And that's good for most things, but sometimes we absorb things that aren't true or aren't really helpful to us. So, if we were in an abusive background growing up, we might think that we're not worthy, or we're not, that we deserve pain, or pain is a part of life. And well, it is a part of life, but pain is all of life, if that makes sense. We might feel like we don't belong here. We might feel that we're not wanted if we kind of had those kinds of experiences when we were younger. If you've had people who neglected you, you might feel like your needs aren't important. And all those beliefs that we've had are just because of repeated experiences that we had over and over again. So it's very valid for us to feel that way. It's very valid for that to be a part of our worldview. But the problem is, because we think that's our worldview, we start creating our reality from the space of all of those thoughts and those beliefs that we have that we're not even conscious that we have. So we might feel like we're not wanted, so we attract and create relationships with people who act like they don't want us. We might feel like we are, I don't know, there's like a million examples that we have to work so super hard in order to get anywhere, or not even get anywhere. So we work super hard to keep getting ahead. That was one of mine, actually. That's one of my big karmic things. Was I always felt like I had to work harder than everybody else to get where I was, and I had to work longer and give more and all that kind of stuff, almost like proving my worth through how hard I worked. And I worked and worked and worked and worked. And I've always had like over 2 jobs and stuff, even since I was like 14 years old. And I got nowhere. Like, I have a shit ton of debt, and I made like not that much money for how hard I was working. I also picked fields that aren't just very high paying in the actual career industry. And that's fine because I've kind of released a lot of those patterns, but that's where I was at whenever I started working. I would work really hard and just keep spinning my wheels. And because I believed that I had to work so much harder than everyone else because of my formative experiences in this life and others, I kept creating those experiences. Like, even now, I'm working on my business and I'm raising my daughter, and I keep feeling like I have to pick up some kind of bullshit job just to, like, I don't know, like, I just feel like I have to, like, I should, that kind of thing. And it's something I'm still working through. And I'm making a lot of progress, but it's something that a pattern that I've recognized in myself, and I'm learning how to give up. And the universe has kind of stepped in and forced me to, and that's kind of where I've been over the last couple months, is through this integration process, because I started going through kind of a transformation at the end of last year. It was actually almost a year ago. I went into Lionsgate Portal thinking I was making all these changes to my life that I thought that I was in control of. And they were very different changes than the ones that I thought were coming. And I felt like it brought me to a tower moment. For those of you who like read tarot or understand what that means, like, it just felt like everything was falling apart. And I went to some of my friends who were really good readers, and the message I kept getting over and over again was, you're going through a big transformation. And I was like so triggered by that word because, you know, I have like 6 Scorpio placements in my chart. Like, transformation has been my thing my entire life, but I've been working so hard at it. I was like, what the fuck else do I have to do? Like, all I've done is work my ass off on myself, right? And I kind of had like this temper tantrum like a child, and I was also pregnant and super hormonal, so like I kept throwing this fit about it over and over again. And what I started to realize whenever I was finally able to kind of calm myself down and to kind of like calm my hormones down and all that kind of stuff, was what was being triggered was this inner child wound of not being good enough. Like, why do I have to keep changing? Why aren't I good enough, right? And the truth of the matter is, I was always good enough. I kept creating this pattern of having to work harder at things than it needed to be, because that was what my subconscious belief was. So whether or not you believe in like the law of attraction or whatever, I don't care. The reality is, what we do believe does shape what we choose to create and the experiences that we choose to engage with in our life. And we keep repeating circumstances until we resolve them. So what we have to do then in order to fix that is we have to develop new beliefs, right? Well, if it was so simple as knowing something different and actually doing it, we would all just like do it overnight, but that doesn't happen, does it? You know, we might know full well we need to love ourselves, but how often do we make decisions that show that we don't? We might know full well that somebody's bad for us, but we're still drawn to them for some reason. We keep engaging with them for some reason. And it's because of the shadow. It's because of the beliefs that we have that we haven't actually resolved. And we can start doing them like energetically and all that kind of stuff, but until we actually start creating new beliefs and living them, that's when things change. I hope that everybody is following me. I'm sorry. So basically what we have to do then is we have to take those lessons that we know intellectually and start to live them. And that is what integration is. Integration is taking our life lessons that we've learned and actually living them. We are not here to take a test on what it means to be a human. We're not here to intellectually know or to be able to spout out whatever bullshit it is. We need to be able to live the lessons that we have. So we might think that we've learned it because we've intellectualized it, we know the answers, and we could write a book on it, but until you're actually living that every single day, you haven't learned it. And a big part of this process is through integrating our lessons and through being still and being present. And then what do? We take what we've learned, and each time we get triggered, each time we enter a situation that's similar, we have to kind of slow down and we have to make a different decision every time. Because what taught us these beliefs? What taught us how to act this way? Repetition of our whole entire lives. So what do we do now? We have to repetition, and we have to repeat making a different choice each and every time. But what happens instead is we usually kind of think stuff like, I should already know this, or we kind of like push it down like, oh, I already know this, I don't need to learn this, or what have you. And that's not really the truth of the matter. I've done a lot of work on myself. I worked harder than I needed to. What I actually needed to do was slow down, stop doing anything, and just live my life. And slowly, as triggers came up, just handle them. And I did. And now I can honestly say that I'm living a lot differently than I used to. And I'm really authentic. Like, I'm not calling myself, I kind of can be a hypocrite, but it's not like, I don't know, I wouldn't call myself super hypocritical. But now I can really say that I'm walking the walk in a very energetic and aligned way most of the time. None of us are perfect all the time. And I am a real person who also has a struggle and stuff. So anyways, what we have to do to integrate is we have to allow ourselves to be. We have to be in the present moment. We have to stop carrying our past with us every second of every day. And I don't mean that in some kind of unrealistic way that invalidates your past or your experiences, but to allow yourself to be so present that whenever things are happening, you stop looking to your past or what you think your future is going to be for answers, okay? Because a lot of times we're trying to control the future based on our past, thinking, I can't get hurt again, so I have to like control it and make only this one outcome, and we limit ourselves to even better possibilities. The choices that I had lined up for myself in Lionsgate last August when I thought that I was making this whole new world were not nearly as amazing as the things that actually came to me. I thought that it was not going to be that good, but I can say right now I'm happier than I've ever imagined, and I have a life that I thought that I would, and it took just chilling and not putting in so much effort, okay? So that's what integration really is. It's being radically present. It's allowing yourself to live your life. As much as it's fun to like do all this spiritual stuff and astral travel and stuff like that, we came and incarnated on Earth because we wanted a human experience. You know what I mean? We didn't come here to do the things that we're already doing in other dimensions. We want this 3D experience. It doesn't feel like it. Like, I started this journey because I just wanted to stop incarnating. That's the truth. That's embarrassing, but it's the truth. I was like, just tell me what I have to fucking do so I never have to come back to this shithole. That was like literally my motivation. Obviously, that wasn't a highly aligned place. I wasn't enjoying my life and I wasn't doing it right, and I have had a tendency to do it the hard way over and over again. So if I can help you not do it the hard way, I will do everything I can to tell you my story and help you be able to skip over those parts. So what does this mean? Like, how does this need to be applied in your life? What it means is you need to just accept where you are right now. Are you still wounded? Are you still getting triggered? Are you still sad sometimes? Are you still angry? I know there's a lot of spiritual communities that tell you like, oh, if you're sad, if you're angry, you need to like fix, you need to fix. And I kind of always internalized that a lot because it was my inner child wound of thinking I'm not good enough and I need to fix something else in myself and I need to be something better. But I will tell you right now, I'm fucking perfect in this moment, and so are you. Am I my highest version of myself? No, but so are you. Like, we all have room for improvement, but we don't actually improve by thinking about improvement. We improve by being the self that we are now, allowing the shadow to surface, and then stepping into a better reality. And we will do that the more and more that we are able to do that through repetition. So forgive yourself for the past. Forgive yourself for where you are now. If you need time to rest, rest. If you need time to cry, cry. If you need time to be angry, be angry. If you keep repeating stuff though, and you're just kind of like wallowing in your emotions, like, you know the difference. You guys are all smart. Stop wallowing in your emotions. That's different. But if you've been repressing them for so long and you weren't able to release them, just release them. Do you know how many times I spent hours crying and feeling sorry for myself again after years and years of a dark night of the soul? Again, over the last couple months, because I had to release it. Plus, like, my baby's like vibrating at like a way higher frequency than me. It was like this huge purge. It was not easy to do, but she brought me up to her energetic level, thank God. And I'm grateful for that. So anyways, there's just a lot of stuff going on, and that's what we have to do to kind of get from this headspace, this spirit, this I think I know everything space to the actual being everything space, you know? And you can tell the vibration is different for people who are actually living this. And you can tell the difference in yourself when you're actually living this. This doesn't mean you're entering this like perfect place of peace and zen all the time where you're happy and enlightened and never judge anybody and never do anything you don't want to do. There's never going to be a time when you're not like going to be angry or something like that. But what we're going to learn is how to use those emotions, experience them in their fullness, and let them go, right? Like, our anger could tell us that we're drained out. Like, I get angry on social media sometimes. You know what that's telling me? I spend too much time on it. I just need to leave. That's it. It's telling me something about myself. It's not necessarily this old wounding that's coming back up that makes me triggered. It's just like, I'm drained energetically and I need to go. So I'm sorry. I hope that didn't go in a million different directions. I talk fast too, and I'm sorry. I'm working on that. But what's really important, and what I think not enough people are talking about, is sometimes we have to stop trying so hard and working out our inner wounding as a way to try to be good enough, and just accept that we are actually good enough and allow ourselves to just continue to integrate. Allow ourselves to have radical presence in the moment, and give patience with yourself because you're new to this. All of this stuff is new. A lot of us want to believe we're masters sooner than later, right? We want to kind of tell ourselves that we know everything, and you might know it intellectually, but until you're doing it, you're not. And you have to really be gentle with yourself. Like, you could look at my baby and she doesn't like know a lot of things. She doesn't like read books or anything like that. I could be like, wow, baby, you're so stupid. You haven't read anything. But I would never do that. That's asinine, right? So why do you say that to yourself? Why are you down on yourself? You know what I mean? So, allow yourself, look at yourself like you're a baby. Look at yourself like you're brand new. Give yourself compassion, and every time you have a little win, congratulate yourself. I clap for this kid grabbing like this ring thing or something. Obviously, I'm really good at grabbing a ring thing because I'm 34 years old, but she is not 34 years old. And if you're kind of in the beginning of your journey, if you're just learning how to integrate and implement, congratulate yourself because you're just a baby in your journey. That doesn't mean you're better or worse than anybody else. It just means that's where you are right now, okay? So, be who you are, not who you think you should be. That's right, Mark. That is exactly what this is about. Be who you are, because we try so hard to like become something different, but we're not becoming something different. We're releasing all the layers of conditioning that is blocking who we really are. That perfect person that we're born as, that hasn't gone anywhere. That essence inside of us is still there. That innocence is still there. And all we have to do is kind of allow it to unfold and show. So I hope that makes sense. I wasn't really like trying to make fun of my baby. I hope you got that point. I'm not a terrible person. I hope. Well, not that way. But anyways, I am starting to realize that I am needing a little bit more rest like right now because the energy has been really heavy. And I will say it gets easier for any of you guys who are really dealing with a really heavy energy right now, the more that you work through. But it's still important that you honor yourself and your need to rest. So make sure you rest. Take lots of time, go do something fun for yourself, live your earthly life, you know, don't try to escape it. There's so much joy to be found here. You know, if you're having trouble finding it, that's okay too. We'll talk about that later. Those are other lives. I don't want to go off on another tangent. We can talk about that. My biggest message for you guys is there is hope, and we are going to find a happier way of being. And our joy and our happiness that we're able to find for ourselves is going to create a whole new world that makes it so much easier for other people to access that because they're not having to peel through so many layers of trauma. All right. I love you guys so much, and I'm really glad that you came to see me. Thank you. If you're on the replay, let me know. If you're on YouTube, please click subscribe or like. That really helps me like get my message out, I guess, and I'd really appreciate if you could. Also, booking one-on-one sessions. So my calendar is up, but I'll post a link in the comments too, in case anybody wants to book one. No pressure whatsoever. I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.